HLTV have announced Rating 2.1, proving that nothing Half-Life related can ever count to 3. This rating system attempts to condense how awesome a player is down to just one number. Obviously, such a feat is impossible, and so many important details are lost along the way so as to render the resulting number almost entirely obsolete. But that hasn't stopped them from trying. And over 2 times. Take your KD ratio. HLTV doesn't believe this tells the full story about how good you are, and I don't either because mine always sucks. KD ratios favour shorter matches with fewer deaths, which makes it useless when trying to compare a player's performance across multiple different matches. So back in 2010 they released HLTV Rating 1.0, which also took into account high impact multi-frag plays and round survivability. So how about that? Instead of being a KD ratio, it's more of a kill-life ratio, where they considered surviving a round to be worth 0.7 kills, stating that it's still more important to kill an enemy player than it is for you to survive a round. But only just. Fast forward 7 years to 2017 and we got HLTV 2.0, which took into account far more variables to try and account for different playstyles and roles within the team. ADR and KAST were also factored into this newer rating system. I cover this calculation in a lot more detail back in my video about HLTV 2.0, but put it simply, shoot more enemies means bigger rating. But again, HLTV pussied out by ending that blog post by warning people that even a complex rating system like HLTV 2.0 still can't account for all of the factors that makes a player who they are, and that there's still no substitute for observing a player's performance for yourself. But now, fast forward another 7 years and here we are with HLTV 2.1, which serves as a stopgap of sorts. And I'm going to go about this the other way around by just showing you all the factors that go into this final rating system. As you can see, there are 5 categories, and it isn't as straightforward as it first seems. The blog tries to explain that things in bold are more important. Presumably they're more important than they were in 2.0, and that pluses mean that they help your score and minuses reward you less, as opposed to actively detracting from your score. I've asked for clarification about these things. I'll pin the response if I get one in the comments section. But I think the way it works is, say you get a kill, you get rewarded for that. And you get rewarded more if it's a flawless kill where you receive 0 damage yourself. But if it's a messy kill where you also receive a lot of damage, or only finish off an enemy that somebody else has weakened, then the overall bonus to your score that you get from that kill will be less. What I find more difficult to understand with this new rating system is survival, because obviously surviving a round is great. All else being equal, you don't want to die, do you? But not all survivals are equal. And this is what isn't explained very clearly. I'm not sure if dying first is merely a reduced survival bonus, or if it will actively subtract from your score. Because, you know, dying doesn't sound like it should be rewarded in the survival section. But I want to draw your attention to survivals in lost rounds, because this is also a little bit vague. Somewhere else in the blog it suggests it's merely a reduced reward, especially if you didn't manage to kill anyone that round. But then down here it kind of hints that surviving on T-side will be punished especially hard with rating 2.1. So while I don't know the specifics, I can say that with this new 2.1 rating, it has dropped the rating of every player, though some have been hit harder than others. Jane was hit particularly hard due to his low kills and damage and high amounts of saving. HLTV's words, not mine, and they state he survived 20% of the rounds his team lost. So of course I had to look up the demo of this example match they used because I wanted to watch him throwing his teammates under the bus over and over again, but it didn't actually look so bad. Remember, he is an AWPer, so he has more reason than most not to lose that weapon and to hand it over to the enemy team. Although of the 3 lost rounds where he saved, he only actually saved the AWP once, and an AK twice. Nothing about this match stood out too much. There were some rounds where he ran in first, got shot in the face, and then his teammates would save instead. As with the enemy team sometimes. It's just the current game meta. Jane just happens to meta more than moster. Let's stop shitting on Jane for now because this whole new rating system isn't just here to punish him. The other major change since Rating 2.0 was released is the release of Counter-Strike 2. The average player's rating used to be 1, but it has crept up since then, which they attribute to changes in this new version of Counter-Strike, like only needing to score 26 points of damage to get an assist, compared with CSGO's 41 damage requirement. And while I don't want to needlessly shit on Jame again, I will, because it seems like people camping more and surviving more rounds than they did in 2017 has also thrown this average rating off. So it seems like it wasn't mathematically set to average around 1. They instead say they have to calculate each event separately to make the average player rating 1. So it sounds like it's an ongoing effort to keep this as the baseline for average player performance, as opposed to being something born naturally from HLTV's ratings formula. I mean, it is just a number, but you don't want it to get to the point where the average is so inflated that somebody with a rating of 1 is deemed to be underperforming. Surprisingly, HLTV doesn't end on an anticlimactic reminder that the rating is still just one number and can only show so much. Instead, it promises so much more, saying that a more comprehensive CS2 rating makeover is in the works that will account for economy changes, live win probability, and all the trimmings. They even tease at a number greater than 2, but less than 4. And that number isn't 2.1, but that's sometime in the future.